Okay. Another stream of the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. So hello everyone, it's your favorite programming error that just refused to be fixed, CodeErr. And hi Rob. And hi Spinne. Rob, quick to comment, but not quick enough to grab first, as Spinne snipes it away. How are you? I hope you're well. Alright. We're back with the Stanley Parable. Last time the narrator told us to please select our favorite time. Not my current time. You know what? Let's make it 420. For the funny. That is often a time where I go to sleep. After streaming. Often after streaming, I stay awake until like 4:20 AM. Ah, 4:20 AM is your favorite time of the day. Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious about how accurate 4:20 AM is. Let's use another slider to find out. How accurate is 4:20 AM? I mean, rather inaccurate. But not fully inaccurate. I mean, it is nighttime. I think that's like right about here. You know, can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. Ah, why shucks. Sleep at 4:20. You get enough sleep. Unironically becomes kind of healthy. Are you sure it's healthy? I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. No! The tragedy! Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. New sliders? Like what kind of new sliders? What data would you collect? Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip up a couple new ones. Should be ready by next time you boot up the game. Okay. We're back. We are so back. Should we sit through the intro again? I'm not sure.
This is the story
you know what?
Of a man
it's part of
Stanley.
It's at this point. It's part of it. It's just part of it.
Stanley
we sit through
worked
the
for a
intro
company
every
in a
single
big
time
building
we begin.
where he was employee number 427.
Gotta
Employee
appreciate the
number
balloons.
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room
Alright.
427 and he pushed buttons.
So
on
today we
keyboard.
continue our journey of
Orders
getting all
came
the
to him
endings with
through
the
a
bucket.
monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every
By the
month
way, while we're
of
playing
every
these
year.
out, I have a
And
question.
although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley
Question that
relished every
is
moment
probably
of the
not
orders
relevant
he
for
made.
most of the people
As
here
though he
other
had
than
been
Spinner.
made
Actually,
exactly for
there's not
this
many
job.
other people here anyway.
And Stanley was happy.
What would you say if I said I wanted
And
to
then one
move the
day,
movie
something
night
very
around
peculiar
again?
happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
I
Something he would
know,
never quite forget.
I know. I changed the
He
time
had
last
been at his
week
desk
already.
for nearly an hour when he realized that not one
And I might
single
have to move
order
it around
had
again
arrived on the
this
monitor
week.
for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say
I know
hi.
it's horrible.
Never in all his years at the
I'm a
company
bad event
had this
organizer.
happen. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
I would have an opinion on that. Imagine opinions. Imagine. Alright, so what if instead of moving around the time, what if I move around the date but keep it at the same time? Would that work? What if I do it earlier, like on Friday?
All of his co-workers
Would that be
were
better?
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. "Where are we going today?" the bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him.
Yes. Honestly, I'm not sure what the other time would be. Probably similar to what happened last week. I say last week like it's already been a week, but you know what I mean.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Let's try taking the
This
wrong
was not
path
the correct
again.
way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
"No,"
Said the bucket.
"don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good."
Said the bucket.
Alright,
Now
we'll go
ride
over
the
there
lift
to
all
the
the way
phone
to the
this
top.
time.
There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact.
Alright,
He was
bucket.
firmly
Let's
convinced
go
that the
meet my
bucket
wife.
had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Of course I would unthinkingly do whatever the bucket asks.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Of course. Of course. Must follow the bucket. Truly, it's blasphemy.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
But what if I unplug it again?
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone?
Why wouldn't I?
Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things.
Are you
Buckets
sure
can't
about
talk.
that?
It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
It's my bucket, though. You can't joke
Don't you
about
see-
my
Oh,
bucket.
goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait,
Sad.
yes, there is.
What?
It's sitting right here. Let's take a
Oh,
look.
this is important. Guys, pay attention. Instructions to comedy.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies?
Oh, yeah,
And
very
more
important
importantly,
point.
can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper.
Okay, then.
If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh,
see an annoying
in all
guy
likelihood,
running
you
down
did it
on you
while
from
standing
the steps,
50 to
waving
80
his arms
centimeters
in the
from
air
them
like you
in a
don't
room of
oblivious to
no
any
more than
invention that might
76
draw
degrees
attention.
Fahrenheit,
Don't
with one of
worry,
your
it's kind of
arms
intriguing.
raised straight
We've been good
upward
friends since
at a
we were
15-degree
children.
angle
You
from
know,
your body.
yay kind of friend
These
you
are
never
the
see yourself
optimal
making
conditions
diet,
for
but it
good
just kind
comedic
of works
timing.
you because you've
Intriguing.
known
To
each
begin
other
the
for
joke,
so long.
start by
You usually
stating and
walk to
spelling your
school
name.
together on days like
Next,
this, but
provide a
luminary
brief
events-
synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor.
Well, that is
Speak
certainly,
the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary
within
to
18
inform your
seconds you
listener
need that
that the
bathroom
joke
break.
is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Danny with the funny. Guys, you gotta remember this.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter,
Oh my God,
and even
these
tripled
faces.
over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as
Should I
our
be
children must
questioning this
do after
part?
us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
I feel like this derailed a little
Hey,
bit at the end.
goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with
I
that
see.
in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Yay! Here we go.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches.
Are we sure?
A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now.
Fair
Well, I
enough.
wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket
Obviously.
spoke to Stanley. The bucket spoke. The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Are you sure? Are you sure you'll figure it out? The elevator now? It was like that the last time as well. It's so you can't jump off when you have to backtrack. That was also the case last time we unplugged the phone without the bucket. And here we go.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
What if I actually did it this time?
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone.
You said
Did
I
you
should
not
go
even
through the
look
door
at
on
the
the left.
instructional video. I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud
Yes.
of yourself for bringing
I'm
me
very
down,
proud.
Stanley? Are you proud? Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Yes.
No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back.
Alright, fine, narrator.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Figure of ridicule within the writer. I mean, yes. Also, hi, Gabe, by the way. Uh-huh. Gotta love how some parts black out before others.
What?
That was quick.
We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to.
So
And
what do we
it's
do
all
then?
my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think...
Whoa, I just realized
think I
something.
need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again.
You can play this game with mouse
Surely
only,
that
no
will help
keyboard
me improve my-
required? I just realized, by accident, what...
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes.
Intriguing.
Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No?
Huh.
Still not... Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal, I think I saw it playing guitar.
Amazing.
No. We're getting away
Alright, I'll
from
tell you
this
how you
fun
play
of
with the
Stanley's
mouse.
obsession with the bucket,
You
which
can
was
interact
rather
with stuff
pointless.
by
I
left-clicking,
know
rather
the
than using E.
cute. I need more
And you can hold
instructional
right-click
videos.
to walk.
That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
Intriguing. Holding right-click makes you walk forward. Let's play around just with the mouse and nothing else. Muted myself during the Ultra Deluxe stuff. Ooh. Not good.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Like, only during the introduction of the Stanley Parable 2? Like, only when you went through the new content door, I mean? Or did you mute yourself for the entirety of the Stanley Parable 2 afterwards? Like what I'm doing, like
A
the
good
stuff
bucket,
I'm playing now.
A strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction.
Yeah, it's a good bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
During the
But
bonus
Stanley
stuff,
had
that
felt
is
the bucket calling
sad.
to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Very wrong.
Stanley took
Alright,
the
now
door
I'll
on his
actually
left
take the phone
to go
call.
back to the meeting room,
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
Except
The
I can
cargo
die.
lift, yes, go there.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
Hello, Grace. How are you doing today? Welcome to the bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket.
Perhaps he had simply missed... Ah, the embrace of an old friend. A weathered companionship that stands the test of
Grace,
time.
in case you're wondering, I'm currently playing with mouse only, no keyboard. Because I just
Stanley
figured
clutched
out
the
that's a
bucket tightly to
possibility.
his- This was not the correct way to the meeting
I wasn't
room.
aware of it
But
before
Stanley
now.
had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket
Everything
turned
extra
out to be
features?
correct? No.
You
never
mean
mind.
everything
The bucket was wrong.
behind the new content door?
Stanley
Yeah, I'm
took
done with the
door
new
on his
content
left
door.
to go back to the meeting
If that's
room.
what you mean. If there's anything else I'm missing,
No,
then
said the bucket.
please don't inform
Don't go
me.
to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yeah, good.
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up
I wonder
there
if there's
I need
something
you to
special
do.
if I go down there without
Stanley
the
did
bucket,
not question
actually.
why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Because that wasn't
It
a
should
thing
have
before I
alarmed him, of course, because
unlocked the
buckets
bucket.
can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I'm gonna try going down there without the bucket next. Just to see if it's different.
In here.
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Alright, phone call time.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone, and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Okay. Time to go home.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
I don't know what you mean. New home, by the way. Different from last time. Looks nice. Very nice. I guess we'll just hang out more with the bucket. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press it. No, and now I have to use my keyboard again. Fine. Press J.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders.
Are you sure about
Whatever
that?
Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
That's what you think. But you're wrong. Bucket! Press F to take me back home with you. And to pay respects.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object?
I don't know what you mean.
I want to say
Not
something
delusional
to him,
at
but
all.
I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
I'll only listen to the bucket. Obviously. Hello. Press Q to go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location.
I can't turn
That's
off the
it.
PCs anymore.
It doesn't do anything else.
It can do more than just transport liquid. It is great at being my companion. You wouldn't understand this, narrator, because you never had anyone you really cared about. Like I care for this bucket. Don't listen to the loud man. Press T to take us back home.
You see?
Yeah,
he's
it
not
does
listening.
so much more.
He's still taking
I
orders from the
agree.
bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
You calling my bucket stupid? Damn. Stupid narrator. Press U to ignore anyone in your life except for me. As it should be, yes.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You finally starting to understand the appeal? Huh, narrator? You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press B to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket.
Yes!
It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Also better at being a companion. Okay, am I imagining things, or is my bucket a vampire? I think my bucket might be a vampire. I have a vampire bucket, it doesn't have a reflection. Dear God. I love it even more now. Press F to relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Because it is so much more than just a regular bucket. It's the best bucket ever. Press U to go home to work to home to work to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket.
Well, you can't have it. It's my bucket.
No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do
Ooh,
anything it
romantic.
asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket,
What a
this would be
romantic
less
setup.
confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
But it's my bucket. Oh! Damn bucket, setting up all the romantic candlelight for us? And then waiting for me in bed, huh? I see how it is. If only it wasn't November. Well then.
Stanley, give me the bucket.
No.
Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley.
It's
I
my
need it.
bucket.
Give it to me now. Give it.
Close
or
your
I'll-
eyes. Bucket? Did you defend? Go back to work, Stanley. Bucket, did you save us from the narrator? It was the end.
The end is never, 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 the
All
end
of
is
his
never, the end
co-workers
is
were
never,
gone.
the end is never,
What
the
could it
end is never,
mean?
the end is never.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You wait here, Bucket. I'll check out the other area right now, real quick, to see if it's different without the bucket.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
yes, I
perfectly
know.
well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door.
I
on his
also
left.
wonder, you know the quiz of what is and isn't a bucket? If I
Stanley was so bad at
memorize...
following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
If I memorize which answers are correct and which ones are incorrect, do you think that would get a different ending? I'm kind of curious.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path.
This is definitely different.
That it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the.
Sorry, narrator. It's
You
over.
didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you?
Yes.
What a silly and trite explanation that would. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording?
Yeah?
It was
So
all
what if you
just in
are?
Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must
Maybe.
be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Yes, it is. I know. And then we went back. Okay. Let's see if
All
I
of
can
his
still...
co-workers were gone.
Let's see if I
What
still
could it
know the
mean?
bucket quiz.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things. Stanley
Alright.
clutched the bucket.
Let's try
tightly
going
to
to the
his-
bucket
This was not the
quiz.
correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley
Let's
had
try
felt
doing
the
that
bucket
now.
calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. the bucket
Alright,
was
if I
wrong,
remember correctly, the
Stanley
first
took
two
the door on
buckets
his
are
left
not
to go back
buckets.
to the meeting
Then
room.
we have a bucket.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo
I'm
lift.
not sure I
Good,
remember
said
everything
the
after
bucket.
that perfectly.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did
I
not
could just
question
say
why
no
or
to
how
everything
bucket
this
was
time
speaking to him.
around.
It should have alarmed him, of course, because
Last time I
buckets
said
can't
yes to
talk.
everything. What if I
But
say
Stanley
no to
chose
everything
not to
this
think about
time?
this obvious
And
fact.
then I
He was firmly
will
convinced that the
know
bucket
which ones
had
are
spoken
correct
to
and which
him,
ones
and
aren't.
he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I think that's a good plan.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see? There's a sign right there. It says,
I don't care.
No buckets past this point.
Let me in.
Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do
Wow.
something about it. This
Quiz time.
misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is
I'm ready for the
dependent
quiz.
on your
Hit me, narrator.
understanding
Hit
of
me.
what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay. Is this a bucket?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay,
All right.
let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not
All
an
right.
actual bucket.
Second one is also wrong, if I remember correctly.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No, because it's a 3D print, right?
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation
Yup.
of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Now the next one I think was a bucket, but I'm gonna say no.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
So no, no, yes. No, no,
Item
yes,
4.
no, yes.
Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be
Yeah, it
honest,
would I
just
said that
sort of
last
put
time
this
as
one in
well,
here
Rob. It
as
could
a
technically
gimme,
still be
but
a
I'm
bucket.
starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one. Is this a bucket?
No.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
It sure is.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
No.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket...
That means everything
makes
is
it
a
sound
bucket.
like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
No.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with
I
confidence.
think it's the same ending.
Yet
Damn
now I'm
it.
somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I
It's
a
the
bucket?
same. I'm not sure if it's gonna be different if I
Stanley,
get
can't
everything
keep
correct.
doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our
Should I even
relationship
try it
apart.
again? Should I even try to
can't
get
have
it
that.
correct?
I'm sorry.
You
I'm
think it's
going
gonna
to
be different
erase
if I
all
get it
buckets
correct?
from the game entirely. Okay.
I guess it's
Here we
worth
go.
trying. I can't even get everything correct because there's a trick question.
What
There is a trick
happened?
question in
Is
this.
everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing
Try
in the
it?
game was a
Alright,
bucket?
we'll try it.
Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news.
No,
We're
no,
not buckets.
yes, no, yes, yes,
I actually
yes,
feel much more at ease
no.
right now.
That
It's
is correct.
delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that.
Imagine
Who
everything in
knows
this
what
game
that
was
information
original.
might
I mean,
do
he
to a
did just
person.
say that
All right,
everything is a bucket.
Here we go.
He did just say that everything in this game is a bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
I did it! Dog mode. I should leave dog mode turned on. Well, great ending.
Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket.
I mean, it is a good bucket. Ah, we're back.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind.
Alright,
The
this
bucket
time we'll
was
get it
wrong.
correct.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
Getting the
Said
quiz
bucket.
correct is basically
Don't
the
go
only
to the
thing left
meeting
over
room.
here
Go
on this
somewhere
path.
else.
At least
The
when it
cargo
comes to
lift
going in
yet.
with the bucket.
Good.
I have to
Said the
come here
bucket.
once without
Now
the bucket
ride the
so I
lift
can
all
get
the
to
way
the
to
two
the
doors.
top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not
That's
to
what
think
you
about
think,
this
narrator.
obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Alright, to the quiz. One more time.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here?
Oh my god.
What if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket?
I
and what
now
isn't
know
a
what
bucket?
dog
I
mode
suppose
is
that
good
would explain
for.
a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it.
Shut up.
This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is
If I try to
dependent on
interact
your
while there's nothing to
understanding of what
interact with,
is and isn't a
then I
bucket.
bark.
Please, step in here for a moment.
Amazing. I've unlocked the bark feature.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Here we
Simple,
go.
right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
Alright, here we go.
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No, it's a hologram.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Why does it even need the conveyor belt?
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No, because it's a 3D print.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
This, however,
Item 3.
is a bucket.
Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
Alright, next up is a no.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
No. Why would it be?
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much.
I got
for you.
everything
Thank
correct
you
up
for not
until
making
now,
me look like
narrator.
an
What are you
idiot.
talking
Okay,
about?
next one. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Correct. This is a bucket.
What if you waited the trick question? Good idea. Maybe I'll do that.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
I can't answer this. But he didn't mark it as incorrect either. It flashed in yellow, which was not red, so it was not incorrect. I can't press both at the same time. What if I go right in the middle? Nope, that doesn't work. Alright, fine.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next
Hi,
one. Let me
Bones.
see. It should be around here somewhere.
How is it going? And that is nothing, so it is not a bucket.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound
think
like
it's
I'm
gonna be
saying
the same
everything
ending
is a
again,
bucket, which of course
sadly.
is not true. Unless...
Damn it,
is
and
that
here
what
I
you
was
think?
thinking that getting the quiz
Answer me
correctly
straight,
would be
Stanley.
fun.
Are you trying to tell me that you believe
And get a
everything
new
is
ending.
a bucket?
No, I would never.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence.
Alright, it's the same. Tragic. Alright, let's go the other way.
All of his co-workers
Let's
were
actually go
gone.
down the correct
What
path.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and then proceeded onward.
Oh no! Actually, the click barking is gone now, I guess. Why you click barking? Because I enabled dog mode when I got
Stanley
the whiteboard
clutched the
ending.
bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Also, Spinne, what you just said there, were you joking? Please tell me you were joking and there wasn't actually something I missed. So you're saying there actually
Coming to a
was something.
staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Fine, I guess I'll have to go over there again. But please tell me if you're joking. I don't have to
Stanley
do it for
just
nothing.
couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
Come on, Bucket, tell
That's
me I'm not
strange, Stanley
crazy.
thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket.
No!
Perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience.
Alright, away goes
without
the fake bucket.
psychologically grounding
Faker.
presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far
Where
off in
is
the
my
distance
bucket?
now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Bucket!
Could it truly
Where
be?
are you?
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None
Where
of
is
them
it?
were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Bucket?
Come to me, Stanley!
Bucket, where are you?
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful.
Ow.
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
So it was literally inside me. That must hurt, yeah. It's
This
a
is
big
the
old
story
bucket.
of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of
It is
course,
tragic.
he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him.
It is
Perhaps he
sad.
didn't
It is
even
very
realize
tragic.
He'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought.
That's
And
why
she
we all
hugged
need
her
a
own
bucket.
even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work. for
I
which her
imagine.
bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself. My life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Damn, that's commitment. I don't think I know what you mean right now.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Alright,
What
we'll
could
go
it
to the
mean?
bucket quiz one more
Stanley
time.
decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace. Protective, yet delicate. Assertive, yet compassionate.
Alright, one more
Stanley
time for the
clutched
quiz,
bucket
because
tightly
apparently
to
I
his
did
This
miss
was not the
something.
correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
You better
Stanley
not be
took the
lying
door
to
on
me
his
though,
left
Spinner.
To go back to the meeting room.
Actually, let's go over here first.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to
Don't
the
need to double
opposite
down
door.
immediately. Let's have a little bit of a break in between before we go there again. Let's go and actually meet up with the adventure line instead.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh my god, it's the adventure line! My wife! The baby! The broom closet! They're all here! They're all
You see,
here.
your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I
like
know
that I can
I'm the one
actually
who
enter
gave
it.
you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the adventure line? We could make the
Maybe.
adventure line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Butt broom closet. Or the size of your wife. You don't question it, please. Please don't question my family. Alright, adventure line time.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Raw assets. The music is back! Factor basics, small asset import. Engine import.
Now this is what the Stanley
Where will the
Parable
line
is all
take us
about.
this time?
Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it
Fair
for the
enough.
fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do
Like the
that,
broken
you're going to
rooms.
have to give something up.
What do you mean, give something up? I'm not gonna get rid of the bucket. If that's what you're talking about. Where are we going, line? Whoa. Hey, adventure line, this place is kind of creepy. Is this gonna be an amazing new adventure?
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why
No.
I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
No!
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can
How
you
about
guess
no?
what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
No.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket.
No.
And then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
No.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows.
Oh, come
That
on.
is
Why
its
can I not
singular
leap off?
personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's
I don't
really
care.
like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for
I
after
want
this.
the bucket, not the bucket
Okay,
destroyer.
the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it.
Never.
We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like
Never.
the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly
I
now.
refuse.
The fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Well then.
The Bucket Destroyer. My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you.
Bye-bye, Bucket
All of it
Destroyer.
squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't.
All of his co-workers
All right,
were
let's
gone.
try the quiz
What
again
could it
because
mean?
apparently I did miss
Stanley
something.
decided to go to the meeting room. Stanley's bucket, the only co-worker he would ever truly need. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him.
I sure
telling
hope
him
that Spinner
the
isn't just
employee
joking and
lounge
trying to
was
get me
simply
to
the
play that
place to
ending
be.
again for the
And
sake
here it
of playing
was.
that ending
Had the
again.
bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley
This
took
better
the
be
door on
worth
his
it.
left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But
That's
Stanley
what you
chose
say,
not to
narrator,
think about
but I
this
don't care
obvious
because you're
fact.
lying.
He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Alright.
No,
Whoop.
stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign
Yes,
right
I know,
there. It
no
says,
buckets.
no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually
Caution,
don't
not
know
a step.
what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket.
My bucket is the only
Please,
bucket that
Step
matters.
in here for a moment.
Alright.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test
Hurry it up.
scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing
I already
I'm
know the
showing
correct
you is
series
a
of
bucket.
answers.
Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
It is not.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
There was nothing there, by the way.
Item 2.
I
Is
checked back
this
in the
a
hallway.
bucket?
Up there when I answered, okay. Got a bucket.
Correct. It is
I'll
a
keep my
3D
eyes peeled
printed
up there.
recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yup.
Correct. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Nope.
Correct. This is a tractor
I'll keep
and
looking.
not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting
My
to
full
get
attention
concerned
is behind
that even
me.
this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one.
Next up is a bucket.
Is this a bucket?
It is.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Next up is a trick question.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
It's not like there's suddenly any other choice over here that I can push. So I have to answer the trick question with either yes or no. So I'll say yes.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
It is not a bucket.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless... Is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
No. Still nothing up there. Oh!
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective.
Hello?
What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is?
What are you
Am
doing up
I
there?
A bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
Is
I
that
can't
all
have
that's
I'm sorry,
different?
but I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go. What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
And that was the
Every
only thing
single
that's
thing in the
different. The
game
fact
was a
that there is
bucket.
a dude that appears
My
up
God,
there.
I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue. But it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what.
Intriguing.
I'll reset everything, and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And
Speaking
we'll
of putting
know
back
that
the
it's
buckets,
all a bucket. But if you run into
you know what
anyone
ending
else,
I'm
maybe
going
don't
for
mention
next?
that. Who knows what that
gonna
information
hurt.
might do to a person?
It's
All right,
gonna hurt.
here we go.
But I know what must be done. Whoa! Another new hallway.
Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No, no, surely not. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley
I'm
had
sorry
felt the
for what's
bucket
about to
calling
happen,
him,
Bucket.
telling him that the
But I need to
employee
see the
lounge was
ending.
simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Down we go. To the intervention.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much.
Having a door back
It's this
here seems
bucket you're
counterproductive
carrying
because this is
around
blocked by
everywhere.
the elevator.
The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that... Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows
Adventure
where it'll
Line
go off to
time.
next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley
Da-da-da-da.
Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans,
Here we
Stanley.
go.
Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character.
What's with the ominous red light
This
back here?
is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
No, I have
Surely
no
you don't
idea.
need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the bucket destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the bucket destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets
when I try
is
to
so
look,
densely loaded with
when I try to interact with it, this is what
it's
happens.
really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game
I'm gonna
can
try
you
again.
even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not.
When I try to throw it in, Stanley just
merchandise the fans
keeps
will
the
be
bucket
clamoring
closed
for
and
after
refuses
this.
to do it.
Okay, the bucket destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the bucket destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Honestly, some of these endings really lack the choice that the original. I will say, Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is a great experience.
My prized creation.
But
so much
it really,
we were going to do
like
such
the new
marvelous
content
things
really
with you, tell
doesn't
such
live up to the
spellbinding
original
stories about
stuff.
you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here.
It really
You
doesn't
were
quite live up to. They have a few good
magnificent.
additions, but a lot of the other stuff is just like, yeah, okay, I guess that exists. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good, but the element of choice is a little bit more lacking, definitely, and that's kind of what made the original Stanley Parable so great.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket, I'll see you
Perhaps he had
later, I'm
simply
gonna go
missed a
grab the
memo.
collectible.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
I know the
perfectly
final
well.
collectible is
Perhaps he
over
wanted
near
to
the
stop
red
by
and
the
blue
employee
door.
lounge first, just to admire it. It was
The
okay.
question is whether or not I have to go through one of those doors.
But eager
and
to
if so,
get back to
which
business,
one?
Stanley took the first
We'll
open
see.
door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really.
I'm still wondering when we're going to
realize
see
that
the other
investing your
features of the
trust in
Stanley
someone
Parable
else can
2.
be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about
Because
nothing but
everything,
you
he
all
presented
this
a bunch of
time.
new features for the Stanley
someone
Parable
you've
2.
been
So far,
neglecting,
all we've
Stanley.
seen are
Someone
the
you
new
forgot.
office decorations, aka the
Really?
balloons,
I was in the middle
the
of something. Do you have
buckets,
zero
and
consideration
yeah, that's about
for
it.
others?
We
Are
still
you
haven't
that
seen the button
convinced
or the
that I
hole.
want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how
Or the
to
jump
convince you
circle.
of this, but I really do want to help you.
I wonder
to
where he
show
would
you
have
something
included that
beautiful.
stuff.
Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I found it.
And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that
Yay.
I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Okay then. I can't go back now.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Oh, and now that's locked. Interesting.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley.
Stanley walked.
You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map. because you were never supposed to be here in the first
Let's
place.
actually see. Let's actually see if the
Broken
games are
rooms,
random or if
exposed
it's the same 2
developer
games
textures.
every
Is this
single
what you
time.
wanted? Was it worth
Because we should
ruining
be
the
on that
entire
path
story
right now,
I'd
so
written out
why not check it
specifically
out?
for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far.
No, over here it's fine.
Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at
just
a new
this one.
design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say
What
that
are
the
we
game
saying this
benefited
time?
from allowing
Last time we
you
said
more
3, what are we
choices?
gonna say this
Feel
time?
free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback.
Do we like
here.
a third option or nah? You know what? I'm gonna give him a 4.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here,
All right.
based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Alright, hello leaderboard. I'm already aware that you exist.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors?
Kind of.
Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
I'll let the baby die. We're
In
not
this
doing the
game,
baby stream
the baby
today.
crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game.
Go on, then.
All about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear
on,
once you've
baby.
been playing it for
Die.
about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play
Oh, there's
to
even a
make
plant
sure
back
it's
here. I never
effective.
noticed.
Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard.
That was quick.
Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try.
when?
I'm out. I'm out. I'm done.
We'll see.
It's over.
Maybe at one
Thank
point.
you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Please be something different. Please don't be Firewatch. And if it is, then I guess we've already seen it. Yeah, we've seen it.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory?
Begin again. Alright, what is left to do? I'm trying to think right now. I mean, I guess there's the escape passage.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's just... it's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it
Okay.
just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you
Yeah,
please
we are.
indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Okay. Suddenly, we're here again. Not crawling through a vent this time. Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Let's have a look at that memory. It is mostly the same as when we were remembering the Stanley Parable, except now we're going down. Ooh. I assume that door is locked. Yeah, of course.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
You're right, you're so right. Oh. We never knew how many we were gonna find. Sure, it said 6, and now I have 7. I'm gonna recollect them again. I'm gonna have 12 by the end of it. Oh wow, the way back just disappears.
And here was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the boss's bathroom.
I sure
that,
did.
Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
As long as I was still surprising you, I'll take it. Yes. Yes. Alright, let's go.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
Pretty sure it was the boss's office.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, behind the boss's office. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything. Let's see, what came next?
This is
Oh yes,
new.
we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh,
I
well,
did?
I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Sure. Clearly it happened. I totally remember this. Absolutely. Well, now it's accurate, because now I found one in this pink room. So now it's accurate. Hooray. Whoa, I can walk on nothing. Ah, right, this one.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Wow! How you found it by the narrator. What's that back there? It's mini stand number 5! Amazing. You found it in the cargo lift. Thanks for watching. Great video. Amazing. Right, starring by the narrator, edited by the narrator, music by the narrator, produced by the narrator, best boy the narrator, starring Stanley. See the narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that
Of course,
video, but it was 8
best
minutes
boy.
I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
What was that sound? Oh, I can't even jump off right now. The game won't let me die. Ah, yes. We're over here now. The one I collected today.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's
I got them
all
all.
of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines,
Technical
which it
legal
was
reasons,
exactly
well that
like.
sucks. Alright, now I have 12 out of 6. The illusion of choice. And a massive black line in the middle. You are in the present.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but
Wow.
move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Alright, I have all 12 out of 6 collectibles.
No,
Wait.
I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Okay then. Whatever you say, narrator.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Sure. And we're gonna come out of the vent. Hello.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
I do remember.
Yes, I love that video.
Amazing. Amazing work, clearly. Which brings us back to the pink room.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Definitely a solid room, I agree.
These
Boss's
really were a
office.
treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of
Yeah,
collecting
imagine if there was a
them. I'm
reward
very
for
glad
finding all
we
of them.
resisted the temptation. Next one.
Like, I don't know, a trip down into the memory zone again. And extra dialogue and stuff. No, Spinne, if you were paying attention to what he said the first time we went through the room, you would recall that yeah, we never saw the pink room in the entire game up until we went there right now for the Stanley figurine. I know you're sometimes gaming, so you probably think you might have missed the pink room. But yes, no, the pink room never showed up in the game until we came across it here in the memory zone, which means we should remember it happening before, even though it didn't happen before. Where's the figurine actually? Well, it was at the bottom of the stairs. Whoa. Right over here. Except I can't go this way anymore. Because I chose the correct path and was like, okay, this is the one I found next. And then we never got to collect this one again. Why did you make a squeaky sound? You already
This
opened
was
it.
our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. Back to this one.
The very first one we found
All the
in the exhibit
sparkles.
where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Before this? Before this was the intro. Oh god, we're back here. Stanley Parable, the collectibles, yep. Wow, the signs are blank because there's nothing else to this area. And then we went back, and now we're going back to how Ultra Deluxe started. The very start of Ultra Deluxe.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I
Yay.
remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Okay, where are we going next? Because that was all... Are we now going back to the original Stanley Parable again? Only makes sense, right? Yup. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors.
Oh, yes. The 2 doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
You're not even gonna tell me which way... Oh, it connects to the same room. And then we go back to the office.
And before everything else, there was your office.
Not really anywhere else
Is
to
there
go
anything
from
else?
here.
Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Oh. Oh crap, now we're really going back.
I'm remembering something now.
Oh yeah, the
I
intro.
remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different.
Oh?
I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship.
And then
Stanley
I had the
really
bucket
did make
for a
wonderful
companion.
even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it.
Are you
I'll
sure?
be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore.
Are you sure?
Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
You can't retire him for good because the end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Well, if you say this is the final run, then we better make it count.
This was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Alright, Bucket, we're going down the escape
As Stanley
pathway.
lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
And the office is back to regular, right?
Still no one was
Meeting
here.
room is back to normal.
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find out. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Yep.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Here we go.
Was it that the bucket knew
Time for
all
the
along?
escape tunnel.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
And after the escape tunnel, I don't know if there's really much left. I think I've almost exhausted the endings.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this
So yeah,
darkest moment of uncertainty,
it seems like
he
this
would
is the
be
last
right.
stream.
The bucket is here
What
for
was
you,
this about
Stanley.
it being 11 hours?
Everything
It's more
will
like
be fine.
9 to 10. Well, then again, maybe some people just play a little bit more
Stanley
slowly.
and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
That's what you think.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
But we didn't.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Yup. Here we go. Come on, bucket. We're here again. Now we can go to the museum with the bucket, assuming that still happens.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be.
It's not
To be
meaningless.
sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
I would never.
Farewell,
It's not a
Stanley.
waste of time. Yup.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was
Not the
crushed
bucket!
violently to death.
Only the bucket's life came to an end as it was violently crushed to death, you say. No word about Stanley's life
It
coming
was a
to an
shame,
end.
the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that
Wait,
all
why is the bucket
buckets are
gone now?
radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
It sure was. I guess they took it. The bucket. Welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched, and sustained. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were in ignorance and darkness? Why would I? Why would I live in ignorance and darkness? This is all for the bucket.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
I totally accept that. The bucket will be far more knowable. But the narrator is the one who slapped the stamp of property of Stanley onto there. 25 buckets. A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of the euphoria from exposure to this many buckets at once. I don't know what to tell you, but I think that might be a little more than 25 buckets. Just saying. A bucket with 2 handles. This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Wanna make a bucket with 2 handles? Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket. which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains, no one can control a bucket. The stress bucket, presented without commentary. The stress bucket, an analogy, worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance. Vulnerability equals the size and strength of the bucket. Coping strategies equals holes. Rest and relaxation, doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. Again. Stress, the level of water in the bucket. I see. All makes sense. Buckets have been around for who knows how long, and everyone appreciates them. Cave drawing. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. Damn. How long have buckets been around?
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
I mean, fair enough. The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. Is that the hole? However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance inevitability is for our own good. Before I jump down there, I have to check out the other side. What do I mean the other side? That's where I came in. I'm stupid. I mean, you know I'm stupid, but yeah. Well, I guess we're going back in the hole. We finally found the hole. So, okay, let's think. Is there anything from the presentation room that we haven't encountered within the Stanley Parable 2? We've encountered the bucket, obviously, the collectibles, the office decorations, the jump circle, which appeared in the memory zone, and now the hole. Was there anything else in the presentation room that we haven't seen yet? I think we got everything. Oh. I guess we're not going in the hole.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Oh, right, the button. The gym
Let
button.
Stanley die.
No, we've seen the
Let him
balloons,
be
Bennett. We
crushed
have
by
seen the
machines.
balloons.
Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together.
I think the gym button
bucket
is the
should
only
take its
thing we
place
haven't
as ruler,
seen.
as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
I think we've gone down every path now. Yeah, I think the only thing we haven't seen is the gym button, but other than that, we've done everything.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I mean, yeah, the baby minigame, the 4-hour-long baby minigame, but,
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference. nor did it advance the story
I can't go
in
to the
any
baby room
way.
with the bucket anyway, because the baby room is beyond the area that has the sign for no buckets allowed. It's behind the blue door. And I can't get to the red and blue doors with the bucket.
What new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
Ah. Ah, okay, there it is. It was just a little bit longer.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright, honestly, we've seen everything now. What do we do? Like, this is my... I was told this game would take 11 hours to complete. And we're like, what? 8 hours in? So there should still technically be like 3 more hours worth of content? If the timing was accurate? I mean, to be fair, I haven't gotten all the achievements yet. The thing is, let me tell you which achievements I'm missing. I'm missing the test achievement, please ignore, which apparently is possible to get because 20% of players actually have it. Curious, I wonder how you would get the test achievement, please ignore. Don't play the Stanley Parable for 10 years. Yeah. Play the Stanley Parable for the entire duration of a Tuesday. Complete the Stanley Parable in under 4 minutes and 22 seconds. I tried that and failed miserably. And then there's an achievement called 88888888, just a bunch of 8s. Settings World Champion. I might be able to do that. This will take a while, though. Nope. There we go. $69. You know, since I don't know what else to do, I might as well get Settings World Champion. Which now reminds me. There was that door in the presentation area. I think we were at 75, that was fine. Oh my god. Flowchart for both the original and Ultra Deluxe for all endings. Again, I think I definitely got all the original endings at the very least. Unless there was something else that they added that I missed.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. This
There
is
we
the
go.
story of a man named Stanley.
Back to the start and type in face fun.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I mean, I guess I can try that. I'm gonna
This
get
is the
settings
story
world
of a
champion
man
real
named
quick.
Stanley.
Shouldn't take too long
This
to
is
get.
the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story
I
of a
just,
man-
again, this is such a weird achievement. Alright,
This-
got all of that. Music. Alright. So what else could there be? We did all the stuff without the bucket and all the stuff with the bucket. At least everything I can think of. Where could I have missed anything? Anything that would provide 3 more hours of content? It leaves me curious. Alright, that's music done. Next up, sound effects. I don't know if the video settings had any sliders, but I'm gonna double check. It might have. Also, hi Tormuse! How's it going? Thank you so much for the raid! How was the rest? How was the long dark stream? How'd it go? I was lurking a little bit for part of it. Hope it went smoothly. Hope you didn't perish. The Stanley Parable is going pretty well. I think I've done basically everything at this point, which has me concerned because according to the playtime estimation, there should still be 3 more hours of content. No sliders here. No sliders here. But I didn't get the achievement. Why? Why did I not get the achievement? What the hell? I feel cheated. Wait, was there another slider? Ah, there's more sliders down. Ow. Okay, Rob, I get it. There were more sliders down here that I missed. I don't know if I can go back to the new content. Because the door is no longer there. I don't know if I can somehow trigger it to show back up. Managed to track down one of them. Found a cache. A single stick! I'm sure that stick will be the best stick ever. Alright, let's set it to like, I don't know, 50. Alright, what other sliders are there? No more sliders. And I still didn't get the achievement. What did I miss? There are no sliders here. I don't get it. Why did I not get the achievement? Set all setting sliders in the menu to all the available numbers. I'll just go through them all again, and this time I'll do it real quick. Maybe I have to go through all of them while I'm in the settings once and I can't exit out. On and off wouldn't count as numbers. Also, those aren't sliders. It specifically said set all the sliders to all the available numbers. Weird.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Narrator.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
And again, I don't think the video segment had... The controls definitely didn't have any
This is
sliders.
the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Narrator, you aren't the music. You don't need to speak for this. I'm gonna be very confused if I don't get the... I'm gonna be confused either way. If I get it, I'm gonna be confused because I don't know, I didn't miss anything. Why didn't I get it before? And if I don't get it, then I'm curious as to how I would have missed something. Back to the main menu. Alright, fine. I can do that. Are there any more in here? Wait. No. I am so confused right now. Yeah, I did. I did these two, I did this one. And there's nothing else. There are only these four here. I can't scroll here. And there are no sliders here. Bombosity? Should it mean something to me? Am I just being very confused by not knowing? I did miss something. Alright. I wonder where I could have missed something.
This is the story of a man named...
A new slider, okay. Well, let's see if I can find that.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I think I've gone everywhere.
Now this, Stanley thought to himself, this is a bucket. And indeed it was.
Anything I might have missed?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting
Got all the
room,
collectibles.
but Stanley had felt
I
the
think
bucket
I've gone
calling
down
to him,
every path,
telling him that the employee lounge
with
was
and
simply
without
the
the bucket.
place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Alright, let's think about this
Stanley took the
logically.
door
If
on
I
his
go
left
straight,
to go back to the meeting room.
I can jump to my death. Done that. I can go in the vent. Done that. I can unplug the phone or pick up the call. Did both of those. I can go over there and get to the quiz area. Did that as well. I don't think there's anything else I can do over here.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section. And
If I
walked
go
straight ahead to
down,
the opposite door.
that leads to the bucket destroyer, which I can't throw the bucket into, and I already saw it blow up. So, nothing new down here.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Did all the
Perhaps
broom
his
closet
boss's
stuff.
office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a
Going
staircase,
downstairs
Stanley and
will
the bucket
inevitably
walked
just lead to
upstairs
the crazy
boss's
ending.
office.
There's nothing else down there. There's no choice. There's nothing in here. This is locked, but there isn't really anything down the elevator in the first place from what I remember. Okay, if I go down, I can jump to the bottom. I did that. I can go down the escape route. I did that. I can turn off. I can turn the stuff on or off. Did that. I can go back up the elevator and back down and then back up again. I did all that. And I did the escape by exiting back out. So I did that. I did all of that. So I just have to close and open the game a few more times. I guess that is it then. I guess I'll do that. Let me talk more to my friend on the setup screen. Oh, wait, why is this now back? Wait. Why are we doing this again? I've only had to do this once. Why am I doing this for a second time now? The only thing it asked me to do every time was the time. Wait! It is a slider, but I can't use it with the arrow keys. I'll slide it to both extremes. This is new. Right, he did say he would have some new settings prepared for me. Until the dog and cat are friends. Are they close friends or are they just friends? Just regular friends, right? Not super close? In that case, one heart should be it. Please adjust the slider until the number 5 becomes the number 9. There it is. I'll look at what else is there. Do you want number 9 or like Roman numeral 9? Either one could work. This is also 9. There are quite a few options here. But since you said the number 9, I assume you mean this one. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Okay. Which of the two made-up words below is the most appealing to you? Okuboinkle or Scrumptish? I think I'm more of an Okuboinkle kind of guy. Scrumptish? Chat is spoken more towards Scrumptish. Okuboinkle? We're leaning a little bit towards Okuboinkle. But not all the way. Please don't adjust the slider. I'm sorry, but I have to. I have to. Because it's a slider. I'll set it back to where it was originally. Right here in the middle. Do you know what time it is right now? Let me check. It's exactly 1 a.m. Apparently. Neato. How fun. Yes. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? I would assume it's the correct time. What time is it anyway? It's, yes. Yes. It's time to get a watch. Is there anything about yourself that you haven't told me? I mean, there's plenty. Help. Well, this is something you always love to see. Don't you love it when this is the kind of prompt you get from a game? This isn't even a question. I feel like yes. Will you come back to visit me? Absolutely. In 10 years? Any new sliders in here? No. Don't worry, I was gonna exit again anyway. I just wanted to check if there was anything else. Anything added. Show translation labels? I don't remember. I'll have to double check. What time is it? Does anyone really truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all of the game's settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now, the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. And I still don't really know you. And you don't know me. And neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games were meant to be played alone. Multiplayer games would like to have a word with you. But okay, sure. Opens up another slider. Okay, I'll take a look at that then. Bedtime for you soon? Well, in that case, I wish you a good night, unless you're still gonna be around for a little bit longer. You like being alone, don't you? Actually, I do. A lot of the time. I guess, unless you count, like, online company, then I like having company online through chat and stuff, but yeah, actually... I do actually really like being alone. That's maybe the only information I really learned about you. Well, it's time for me to leave. There is still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may be a little time before I'm ready for that. It's not really in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again, if you can find me. Talk soon. There's an epilogue now! Alright, which button was it? Show translation labels. Aha! You were right. I assume show color labels will also be a slider, maybe? I don't know. Nope. 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 Aha! There we go. This will take a moment. That's gonna be a big reticle. I'm kind of curious what other types of reticles there are. I assume there's a crosshair? Anything else? I kind of want to take a look. Yeah, that's pretty big. Second person shooter. Intriguing. Plasma rifle. Joe's favorite. Play of the game. Windows. And back to the dot. Okay. Well, let's check the next slider. Opacity. And that's it. I checked every other toggle. What? Technically, second person, logically speaking, would mean... Yeah, exactly. That would imply you're the one being shot. Exactly. Because the first person is the person doing the action, second person would be the person who the actions are done to, and third person is a bystander, so from an outside perspective. Weird. Now I adjusted every single slider and I still didn't get the stupid achievement. I am so confused. I guess I'll just click on the epilogue. Epilogue. Many, many years later. What, like 10 years maybe? Oh my god, we're back here. no. Sure is nice out here. Everything's so devoid of life. Couldn't ask for anything else. Bunch of chairs around the area, huh, in the sandstorm. Amazing how durable these office chairs are. Everything else is gone, but the office chairs, they survived. Screaming horror monsters to come back? Yeah, we're all waiting. The memory zone! It still exists, there's still parts of it. Okay, there's still parts of the memory zone left. Because this entire thing happened within the memory zone. Kind of almost forgot that this entire area that became the desert was set in the memory zone. In loving memory of the Stanley Parable 2. Yes. Follow the power cord. Cookie Nine's blog. Oh shit, Cookie Nine. The comeback. Collate the entire desert. Alright, review the Stanley Parable 2. Like so many, I enjoyed my time with the original Stanley Parable. You literally didn't! Which underscores how truly disappointed I am in with its sequel. Where the first game teamed with originality, the Stanley Parable 2 is still uninspired and often insulting to its fanbase. Rather than expand on what made the first game enjoyable, the sequel veers off into territory nobody asked for. An infinitely deep hole? Who cares? Where are the new endings? What about enjoyable bits from the Stanley Parable 1, like the adventure line? Instead we get an uninspired side quest collecting figurines. Even this diversion feels incomplete. Collecting all the figurines gives you nothing. I must say, though, I found the bucket to be quite comforting. A welcome reprieve from... The whole is absolutely great. Plus, Cookie 9 specifically said the first game was shit. And now it's like, oh, I enjoyed it. Cat dog born. Scientists confirm hybrid species. I see. The bucket was the best point, though, I agree. But yeah, the hole was also great. The gym button. The button has made its return. Stanley Parable developers, no more spin-offs, no more sequels. When the Stanley Parable launched to massive success in 2013, its creators made plans to build the property into an entire franchise. But the disastrous critical and commercial reception to the Stanley Parable 2 has prompted the developers to rethink their ambitions, as outlined in the press release they published today. It's clear that more Stanley Parable is just not what the fans want, reads the press release. We thought that we had a vision for the series that players would be excited about, yet it turns out this could not have been farther from the truth. The press release goes on to promise to preserve the artistic integrity of the original game and to stop assaulting fans with our reckless and insulting creative visions. The word sorry appears more than 25 times in the press release. Aggregate review scores in video game history and second, okay. We do like gym though, at least we got the gym button again. Sign up for updates.
Gym.
There's more gym buttons!
Gym.
So many gym buttons, okay.
Gym.
As I was saying, this was the only thing that wasn't included.
Stanley.
Okay.
Stanley. Jim.
Okay then, Stanley. I guess we found your button. That came out of nowhere. Oh, hey, collectibles. And someone tipped over the hole. Who tipped it over? Thank you for enjoying the new content. I really was not expecting the Stanley button though. Okay. Hello again. It's nice to see you. Right back at you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Did you read what the developer said? Preserve the integrity of the franchise? What nonsense. The Stanley Parable is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Legacy, right, I can't even read anymore. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making Stanley Parable games until the sun explodes. Let's run this franchise into the ground and drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that was the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Also the corporate drive to make new content, even if it doesn't mean anything. I do still wonder if the negative reviews hurt the feelings. I mean, I imagine that negative reviews hurt at least a little bit. At least a little bit, I can imagine, yes. Don't make his mistake. Don't cling to the legacy. Let it burn. It's not hard. In fact, let me show you. Together we are going to make the Stanley Parable 3. It's simple. All we need to do is change the number in the game's title screen. We also need to really dumb subtitle for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a new title for our game. Search of Unforgivable Infinite, Door to Quarterly. Stanley Parable 3, Infinite Spiders. Or Door to Spiders. Or Door to Cheese. Infinite Cheese! Infinite Zone. Infinite Ice Cream also sounds nice. Quarterly Ice Cream is possible. I like Infinite Spiders. Fair enough, Infinite Spiders is also good. Journey to Ice Cream. Journey to Poison. In search of poison. Great. I get the joke. In case you're wondering, by the way. Yeah, DDLC joke. Because there's the poem, Amy Likes Spiders. A door to poison. Door to circles. Infinite circles. Infinite circles actually makes sense. I guess we'll go infinite cheese, since someone seems very, very passionate about it. The Stanley Parable 3, Infinite Cheese. It's absurd. I love it. Every time you restart the game, we'll advance the number of the sequel by 1, and then we'll pick a new subtitle. That way, the Stanley Parable will never end. And nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work. No need to do that. It'll just be the same content recycled again and again and again with a new title screen. What do you say? Should we go forward with this plan? I like it, but I want you to have a say in it as well. That feels like bad marketing. What if I tell you to not do it? Don't do it. I understand, sometimes we're not ready to move on. That's fine, if you ever change your mind and want to start inventing new sequels, come talk to me. I'll be right here. I guess I have to. Fine. Fine, I guess we'll do that. Yeah, I thought it would give me more of a choice, but I guess we have to go back. I guess we'll make sequels. Also, damn, can we just talk about how real they are for just saying, hey, just make a new sequel with a slightly altered title and don't add any new content. Just same game, new title slapped on it, or new number slapped on it. They're really calling, I feel like that's a bit of a call out to some games. Specifically a lot of the like sports themed video games like FIFA, for example. I've never played them, but I know exactly that that's what they do. They just slap a new year on it and call it a new game. That's mostly all that changes, from what I know. And yet they keep selling them. And people keep buying them. It's totally new content. Look at the ray tracing. Yeah, totally. Totally new stuff. Well, you gotta admit, you gotta give them credit. They found out how to make easy money. They figured out how to make easy money in the video game industry, which is just recycle your game over and over again and sell it for the full price every single time. As long as you make even the most minute of adjustments, it'll sell. Free money hack, yeah. Down the hole. I found you. I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Miss me? Oh, hello. You're back, it's good to see you again. Did you reconsider my idea of inventing new silly subtitles for sequels like the Stanley Parable 3 Nonsense Chemicals? Would you like to start doing that now? Alright, fine, let's do it. Good. Then it's agreed. A new sequel every time you start the game. And you know what? Since you've put faith in my idea, I feel like giving you something as well. You see, I'm noticing that the narrator never found a way to give you the broken achievement, did he? Of course not. I wouldn't expect him to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. Alright there, the achievement machine is all fixed. You see, I'm on your side. We're in this together. How do I get back to the achievement machine, though? We're going to keep this train rolling. The Stanley Parable cannot end. It can only spiral in on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? Great. There's only one last thing we need to do. Please enter the current time! Boom. Thank you. Please enjoy the Stanley Parable. You are now playing the Stanley Parable 3 Infinite Cheese. Maybe the new content area will come back. Let's check it out.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was
Still not enough
employee
cheese.
number
We need more
427.
cheese.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him
Whoa.
through a monitor on his desk.
Imagine that.
telling him what buttons to push,
Pushing
how long to
buttons.
push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
Wow,
Something
Stanley
that would
Parable
forever
3 Infinite
change Stanley.
Cheese.
Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he
All
came
right,
to
it's
his wits
time.
and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped up. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
It's open.
Finally, yes, the bucket. Yes, yes, yes. I love that bucket.
It's back. Ah, damn it. They really don't let you walk around. Return to the Stanley Parable 2 Expo Hall, but this time with the bucket. Here we go, to the Expo Hall!
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this Ultra Deluxe version has turned out to be.
Alright, we
The
heard this
original
before.
Stanley Parable was a
I
landmark,
still don't
and
know
any new
how I
content
haven't
for it should
unlocked
live up
the
to that
Settings World
legacy.
Champion thing
So
yet.
forget this Ultra Deluxe
What am I
nonsense.
missing?
I say we take
What
it
setting am I
one
missing?
step
Whoa.
even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Whatever
now, to be
you say.
clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Bucket.
Wait, there are 2 buckets here. How did you get a second bucket? Oh no, the warmth and comfort of a single bucket is already so great, so intoxicatingly wonderful. With 2 buckets, there's no telling. Stanley, can you still hear me? Are you with me? Stanley!
No!
Thank God, I didn't lose you. Stanley, the power of 2 buckets was too much. I had to destroy both of them.
No!
I know how much the bucket meant to you, but I couldn't take the risk. I hope one day you can forgive me.
No! Never! I will never forgive you for this. Damn. Double checking the settings again. But there isn't any slider I missed. At least I don't think there was. Wait, maybe if I adjust this, is there custom? No, there's no custom. Sometimes there, I was thinking like maybe if there's custom quality, then maybe that would have more sliders. I guess not. I guess I'll double check the door now. You're right. Yeah, there was that one door. But I think that door, I thought that door would open once I've done the achievement. It still doesn't open. Yeah, the achievement machine is fixed. That is totally something I'm gonna need to try to go for. Let's do that right now, actually.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident?
I
well,
do.
I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Well then. Oop. I got it! Test achievement,
As you
please
can
ignore.
see, the machine is not working yet since... What? Wait. What in the holy hell is going on? You got the achievement?
I did.
Why did the machine work? Stanley, I didn't fix it. I didn't do anything to it. I swear, it was broken just a second ago. Who fixed it? Is someone here? Are we being watched? Oh, God. Composure. Composure. Yes, as you can see, the machine is working as normal, as I intended.
Sure.
It truly speaks to the awe-inspiring magic of the Stanley Parable 2. Breathe. Just breathe.
Man, if only the narrator could interact with the, what was he called, the timekeeper?
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
You know what? I'm just gonna look it up now. What slider I might be missing. Well, actually, no. Torm, you said there was one other slider that you... Tormis, you said there was one other slider that you saw when someone else played it, right? And I haven't found that slider yet. What was it? Bumposity, right. I have not seen a bumposity slider. Slider after you get the achievement? Well, that's weird. Because I did all the other ones. Additional sliders for other languages? Oh no. Oh no. Just gonna go through everything here. Everything I haven't done yet. This is gonna be a little bit weird. I don't need to apply it, so as long as I don't hit apply, it should be fine to cycle through. I'm gonna go through all the options now. Alright, I cycle through there. Windowed full screen, borderless, windowed. And now I went through every option as well. Still nothing. Oh, okay, I just looked something up here. Okay. Here we go. Listen to this. When starting the game, don't change the time. The game will complain that you didn't change the time, the setting at the start, and will give you additional sliders. Great. I hope that will still happen. If I
Calling
exit
it
now.
the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than
Guess it's
Ultra
worth a
Deluxe,
try.
don't you think?
I don't think there's anything else I
Ultra
can really do in
Deluxe.
the expo
What does it
hall.
even mean? But the Stanley
Actually,
Parable
there's
2,
one thing we
now
should do.
that's an
We should go back to the
artistic
Infinite
statement
Hole one more
right
time.
there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and
Because there was some
long-term
stuff in the hole I think
franchising
we haven't
potential.
seen yet. So let's do that real quick and then I'll restart the game and hope that the settings that the timekeeper will still get mad at me for not
Stanley,
changing the
here's
settings.
an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward. You see? Isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then,
All the way
since
to the
you've
bottom.
gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
No.
Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
No.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say
It is
this
pretty
tactfully,
deep, I
but
will
it's
admit.
possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You
All right,
found me
we
out,
did it.
Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What
What's so
normal
bad about
person
falling?
actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you,
So the sudden
then go
stop
ahead and
at the
press
end.
teleport button to walk
Yeah,
up
that's
to the
always the
top
pro-
of the
that's
hole
always
and we
what
can
gets
move
you,
on.
the sudden
I'll
stop.
just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you... Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of...
Yep,
Oh.
we're at the bottom.
Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you
Holes
spent
are
a little
very
less
amazing,
time
I
in there than
agree.
you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this
I sure
starts to
am.
become a thing where... Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I
Yeah.
suspect that I'm starting to hit
Soon
the
we'll
point
have the
where
fun
it's no
hole
longer
again.
feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Yep, yep.
Well, there it is. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this
No one could just
scratching
make an
the itch.
infinite hole like Gravity
Oh,
Falls did.
Who am I to judge?
Well,
You just
it's
do
still a
whatever
good
it
one.
is you're here to do, and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
I mean, it was, the Gravity Falls infinite hole was infinite in
Is
the way
the,
that... Actually,
teleport
it did
button
loop
not
back
working?
around on itself. That's what it
You
was about
sure?
that hole. It looped
Well, I
back
mean-
around.
I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else.
Hooray.
Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Alright, it's time. And this time I want to see everything. So I'm gonna cycle through things a little bit more quickly. So the narrator doesn't stop me too early. Because we saw, like, only, what, 3 different versions of Stanley? And I'm not sure if we even saw all the different backgrounds. So let's enjoy ourselves a little bit in the hole. Yes. Yes. Yep, the time has come.
My head's stronger. Now you're not.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley!
No, I still
Oh,
was
good God.
cycling.
It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is...
That's enough. If you're gonna stop me from enjoying the hole, then I'm gonna quit the menu. Alright, timekeeper, please show up and get mad that I don't change the settings. I need to do that to get the sliders. Stanley Parable 4. The wacky computer virus. Curse of the challenge. The wacky bomb. Curse of the thank you. Of course we're going with the wacky computer virus. That still doesn't give me anything to change for the sliders in the settings. I'm not sure if I can get the achievement anymore, because obviously the timekeeper isn't gonna get mad at me at this point. Because the timekeeper knows that I am okay with everything. Stanley Parable 5. Avoid the love. Ow. Ow. Now with added mind control machine. Avoid the 427? Snake. We do have the snake. Now, Stanley Parable 5 now with added snake feels like a great title to me. Not the title screen I would expect from Now with Added Snake. I feel like most people know the music. What other quirky titles do we have? For some reason it dragged itself off screen. Hang on, I gotta reopen it. It dragged itself off screen for some reason. I don't know how it did that. Hope we didn't skip number 6. Yeah, there we go. Number 6. Tuesday. Offline swimming pool. Liquid spiders. Passion of the 427. The offline sequel. What about just the scary sequel? Let's make it the scary sequel. Ah yes, this looks very scary. Very scary. I mean, Linux is terrifying. Stanley Parable 7. Part 5! Lawsuit! Stanley Parable 7 Part 5. Also, I like some titles. Saturday Night Lawsuit. We got Inspector Lawsuit. Liquid Space. The Atomic Stapler. Infinite Lawsuit. Atomic Printer Jam sounds horrible. Stanley Parable 7 Part 5. Printer Jam, sure. That's what we're going with. Stanley Parable 7 Part 5. At this point, I don't know if there's anything I can do right now, because I can't get that one achievement anymore, because apparently they refuse to give me all the slides. I can't adjust all the sliders if I don't get all the sliders. Stanley Parable 8. The attack on choice. In search of choice, also fair. Curse of the lawsuit. Hey, the race to the lawsuit is gonna be very interesting, isn't it? Let's go for the race to the lawsuit. Have pizza sim. Security notice. This office is under 24-hour surveillance. Curse of the choice? Yeah, a lot of the choice options. In search of choice, curse of the choice. Forbidden choice. So I want to play Stanley Parable 8 Race to the Lawsuit. Yeah, let's go. Sadly, it's not gonna have anything new to it. Let's see some more wacky titles. And hope that maybe one day I can change the sliders again. Stanley Parable 9. Lord of the Snake. Spectacular hole punch. What is a crocodile snake? Lord of the Stapler does sound interesting, though. We'll go for Lord of the Stapler, you're right. What is Lord of the Stapler? Stanley Parable 9, Lord of the Stapler. I guess it would be a fusion of both animals. How many sequels do you think there's gonna be? We're entering double digits. Stanley Parable 10. This is a big one. This is a big one. This is the big 1-0. The baby. The chemicals. The skeleton. Baby skeleton. The thank you. I mean, Stanley Parable 10 Infinite Thank You. Baby, baby. The baby, baby. Part of me wants to say that Infinite Thank You would be fitting for Stanley Parable 10, but baby, baby. The fact that this is even an option means we have to go for it. Stanley Parable 10, baby, baby. Not the kind of title screen I would have expected from that. It's funny that, yeah. I don't think we're gonna go up to 69. I'm sorry to say, Rob. The hole. Where did the new game go? Yeah, it fell in the hole. The original 427? Avoid the apple. What, are we the doctor all of a sudden? Grilled 427, oh no. Sure, let's go for the original 427, and then, you know what? I mean, this fits. I think, let's go to the epilogue again. Ask the timekeeper to stop with the sequels. And then I'll open up the game a few more times, and hopefully I can then get the thingy. Alright, stop the sequels, open up the game a few times, and hope I can get the option to adjust the time again. And then I will not adjust the time. Please tell me that's the only way I can think of where I can still get the achievement for the sliders. It's the only possibility. If that doesn't work, then I think I locked myself out of the achievement. Which would suck, honestly. But there is still hope. Alright, timekeeper, where are you? Reveal yourself. And stop the sequels. Right behind you. Stanley Parable 12 in search of the timekeeper. Essentially what's happening. We're here. Out of curiosity, can I walk past it? Whoa. Huh, I actually can. What's that over there? I'm sorry, I'm curious now. Oh, that's the escape pod! Bucket? Are you there? It worked! The escape pod worked! Remember last time when we fired off the escape pod with the bucket? It was out here in the memory zone. We saved it. We did it. I can't believe it. Good thing I looked around. All right.
Jim. Jim. Jim.
Double checking.
Jim. 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 Jim.
I know where the Stanley button is. It's back here. Wait.
Jim.
Wait for it.
Jim.
Wait for it.
Jim.
Prepare.
Stanley.
All right, here we go. All right, timekeeper, I'm here with a bucket. My bucket. Hello again. It's nice to see you. But it's terrible to learn that there will never be another Stanley Parable game. Do you read? Yeah, okay. Together we are going to make the Stanley Parable 12. I mean, the final paperwork. It's gonna be the final sequel. Danger of paperwork sounds way too real. Revenge of the paperwork. Let's make it the final sequel, because this is, after all, how I'm going to end it here. Never end. Don't do it. The fact that this is gonna be the final sequel, I'm sorry. The final sequel is an anime? Let's go! I am ready! Wholesome indeed. Now let's see if I can now change the time. Please. Please. I did say I don't want to make any more sequels. I said don't do it. This is now permanent. But it didn't give me the option to adjust the time. Not make it a bucket. I don't think you're gonna get it as a bucket. I think I did the 2 doors, but I didn't add it yet. It's simple. It's basic. Come on, ask me to set the time. Ask me to set the time. Why won't you ask me to set the time anymore? I think I'm actually legit locked out of the achievement. I think I am locked out of the achievement. There's nothing else I can do anymore. Let me think. There's still 5 achievements I'm missing. Let's go through them and see if there's one we can do to wrap things up today. I'm not gonna play the game for the entire duration of a Tuesday. I'm not gonna get the don't play for 10 years one either. I tried speedrun, didn't really succeed. Settings World Champion, for some reason I seem to have locked myself out of it. Narrator would be the blonde, I think, probably. And then there's the achievement that's just a bunch of 8s. A bunch of 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. I have one idea there. Oh boy. Guess I can try that. Fine, I'll do one more attempt of getting all of these. Fine, I'll do that. Can't believe I'm actually doing it like this now. So doing them one at a time. Can't believe I'm actually doing this. Alright, what was it? Field of view, camera sensitivity, subtitle background opacity, and translation label background opacity. Alright. Only those ones are here. Oh boy. Yeah, I do want to die someday. Translation labels. Alright, here we go. One at a time. Can't hold down the button apparently, because otherwise it'll skip stuff. By the way, about the 8888888 achievement. Does anyone know what I need to do for that? My theory is I need to go to the keypad and just keep slamming the button 8 all over again. That's the only idea I have. We were theorizing earlier, Spin, if you were paying attention. We were theorizing earlier, specifically Bones was theorizing it, that the blonde one might be the narrator. What the fuck? Why did we jump up here? Might be, for all we know. Alright, audio. Could also be the timekeeper, how would we know? Ah, boy. Do you wish to know? Kind of. I mean, that's why I asked. Is it just going to the keypad at the boss's office and pressing the button 8 over and over again? Is that just it? All 8 in keypad, it is. So I was right! My theory was correct. In that case, I'll probably do that one too. And Spinnick once again confirm, it's just the sliders in general and audio, right? And then if that doesn't work, just change the languages. Alright, I hope the IGN page isn't lying to me. It's just the 4 sliders in audio, and I think it was also 4 sliders in general. You can tell that this isn't very entertaining because half the people watching just left. If I'm looking at the numbers right. There it is! Settings World Champion! Finally! Why did I not get it earlier? Alright, begin the game. One last time. Let's watch the intro one last time. After all, it is the final sequel.
Stanley.
I'm willing to accept this
Stanley
as the
worked
final
for a company in
sequel.
a big
Of course,
building
we all
where
are.
He was employee number 427. Employee
Let's see
number
the final
427's job
sequel.
was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him.
Sure,
through a
if you have a
monitor
tip for the
desk,
speedrun
telling
achievement,
him
then
what
tell me.
buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in.
Then it
Though he had
auto
been made
opens.
exactly
All right.
his job,
Good.
and Stanley was happy.
I'll try that. Then I might do the speedrun achievement too.
And then one day,
I'll get
something
everything
very
done
peculiar
except for the
happened.
Tuesday one and the
Something that would
10-year
forever
one.
change Stanley.
I will only be able to
Something he would never
100%
quite
it.
forget.
Stanley Parable 12, the
He
final
had been at his
sequel!
desk for nearly an hour
I will
when he
100%
realized
the
that
game
not
10 years
one
from now.
single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. no one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and all of his co-workers were gone.
All right.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, we'll get the
Stanley came to a set of
88888
two
one,
open
the
doors.
speedrun one, and
He
then
entered the
finish it
door on
off
his
by
left.
going into that one room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs
boy.
to his boss's office.
Again, if I'm still streaming 10 years from now, which I hope I am, I hope to still be streaming 10
Stepping
years
into
from
his
now.
manager's office, Stanley was once again
Then please
stunned
remind
to discover
me to
not an
check out this
indication
game
of
again.
any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
8.
What
Alright,
he could
got
not
it.
have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single
Alright, I
minute
got
to
the 8
just let
achievement,
the
and
narrator
I'm
talk.
helping the
That
narrator
kind of
through this
anxiety
shit.
isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Okay. 8. Not a lot left now.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
I could just probably reset to the beginning. What's the quickest ending to get here? Maybe the press conference one is the quickest one I can get?
Descending deeper into the building,
I don't know.
Stanley realized he
Or
felt
jumping
a bit
down.
peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered.
Yeah,
for
I know
long.
it needs to be the freedom ending. I know it needs to be the freedom ending, but I'm wondering what I can do right now.
Stanley walked straight
what I
ahead
should do
through
right
the large
now.
door that read Mind Control
Because I'm now
Facility.
not on the speed run currently. I think I'll just jump in the pit for this one. Of course it has to be the freedom ending because that's the proper ending.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the
We haven't seen this in a
control
while.
facility. Welcome. You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us...
Actually, you know what? I can just hit begin game again. I think it should still remember. I hope it still remembers.
All of his
We're about to
co-workers
see.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I do kind of want to hurry things along a little bit.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So I did. I went through the meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley
Yep.
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I did.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad, Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill surprise.
Am I currently on good time? This might be good time. Maybe. Also, hi, Reese. Welcome to the stream and thank you for the pats. Come on, speedrun achievement. I think I might be on good
Stanley
time
walked
for
straight
it.
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Now this is the part that will take the longest time.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
But yeah, I had
What
the short
horrible
elevator, the
secret
door
did
opened
this
basically
place
immediately.
hold?
I think
Stanley
I'm good.
thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Come on.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many
Give me that
individuals
speedrun
reduced to
achievement.
images on a screen, and Stanley,
Go,
one of
go,
them,
go.
eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible
Gonna
to
jump
believe
down.
it couldn't be true.
Tough, because as you
Had
can see,
Stanley
the
really
gate
been
is
under
higher
someone's
than
control
the
all this
fence.
time?
So I don't
Was
think
this
it
the only
works.
reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it.
Okay.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control.
The door at the end is also
Never.
gonna take a lot
it
of
was
time.
Unthinkable, wasn't it?
If this
was
isn't
it
it,
even possible?
if this isn't
Had
the
he truly
time,
spent his entire life utterly
then I think I'm gonna have
blind
to
the
try
world?
to make the jump.
But here was the proof.
No,
the
he
heart
screamed
of the
into the
operation.
bucket.
Controls
I missed the
labeled with
bucket for
emotions.
this.
Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided...
I decided to off this area, and now we open the gate. Hurry it up, narrator.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
Come on.
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he
Can
had
the
been
gate
seeking.
open any more slowly than
Happiness.
this?
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
If I could.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Too slow? I think it was too slow. Alright, fine. I can do it. Final run.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yep, I sure did.
Here's the door, just go.
Oh, I was sometime there, I think. Not navigating correctly in the darkness. I think from any run that you do, as far as I'm aware.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Yeah,
Facility.
blind time lost, sadly. Alright, go. Lights, lights, lights.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength
Why
to
could
find
I
out?
not make it up that time? Okay, I could have maybe saved a few extra seconds there.
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their
For
true
some reason, I
nature
couldn't make it
revealed.
up that time.
Each bore
Kind of
the
stupid.
number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced.
You know what? Actually, let me restart again in that case. I feel like I might need that. I might need that time save.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You don't need to check.
When Stanley came to a set
Rob,
of two
you
open
don't
doors,
need to check
he
if I
entered the
need it
door
or
on his
not.
left.
I'm gonna do it either way.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I don't think going diagonally
Here's
adds
the door,
anything.
just
Okay. There we go. I don't think diagonally is faster here. Doesn't look like it, at least.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
So I did.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he
That
have
does
the
save a little
strength
bit of
to
time now,
find out?
doesn't it?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
Alright, this should be the
Stanley's
run.
co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley...
Sadly
one
for
of
this
them,
one I still have to wait.
eternally
I can
monitored
only
in this
climb on the
place
first
where
one.
freedom meant nothing.
Ow.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept
Come on.
it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
Give me the
It was
achievement. I
unthinkable.
need it. I need
Wasn't
it.
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided...
Alright, now I just need to wait for the door to open. There's no way to speed this part up, as far as I know.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered.
True, shortest hallway
For
is
it
also
was not
possible.
knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness.
But I
Perhaps
hope
his
it was
goal had
possible
not been
without
to
that,
understand,
without the advanced
but to let
strat of
go.
restarting.
No
I don't
longer
want to
would anyone
restart
tell
over
him
and
where to
over and
go,
over again just to
what
get a
do,
short
or how
hallway.
to feel.
I would hope that just
Whatever
playing
life
the
he
game
lives,
like this
it will be
works.
his.
for the achievement.
That was all he
Because if you
needed to
actually need to restart until you
was
get the
perhaps
shortest hallway,
the only
and
thing
then once
worth
you have the
doing.
shortest hallway, you need to do
Stanley
a flawless
stepped
run,
through the open
then
door.
that's, kind of bad.
Stanley
Yes!
felt the
Speed
cool
run!
breeze
I
upon
did
his
it!
skin, the feeling of
I got it!
liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Alright, double checking now. So the only achievements I am missing now are the ones to play for the entire duration of a Tuesday and not play for 10 years. However, before we end it, I am gonna go through that one new door.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages.
No.
If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it.
Should I take the bucket along? Sure, I'll take
One
the
man,
bucket.
one bucket, one chance to seize their destiny together.
Shoot, it's Wednesday. Too late for the Tuesday achievement. Yeah. Even so, if I did it on yesterday's stream, I wouldn't have been able to do it because I would have to play for the entire duration of a Tuesday after all. That's something I can definitely do off screen. Seems a little bit stupid though to leave the game running
You
for
see,
an
Stanley,
entire day.
I've been reflecting on the Stanley
Oh, well.
Parable and about how roundly disappointing this Ultra Deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live
Alright,
up to
big
that
finale.
legacy. So forget this Ultra Deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even
I don't
further.
think there's anything
Which
left
is
after
why
this.
I'm very proud
Other than,
to
well, I
announce
could
for
do a
the
bunch
first
more
time
sequels,
ever,
but we're on the final
Stanley
sequel after
Parable
all.
2. Yes,
Why would
you
I make
see,
more
isn't this
sequels
far
after we
superior to
already
a
achieved
measly
perfection?
re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully
So I
fledged
don't
sequel.
think there's
An
anything
entirely
else
new
after this.
experience, built from
Again,
the
those two
ground up.
achievements
Why,
I
there's
have
so many
to wait
possibilities.
for.
It could go in so many different directions. This
I can also
is
do
what
the baby
fans have
minigame, of
truly been
course.
asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly
And
the Stanley
someone
Parable
already brought
2
it up,
is
I
going
forgot
to be.
who
But
did
let's
it.
take a look
But
at some
yes,
of the
playing the
features
baby
I've been
minigame would
developing for
maybe
it.
be a funny thing for an
I
April
figure
Fool's
that if I
stream.
can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts,
So I might just do that.
Surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on.
Might just
Try
do
out some
that.
of the new features.
And then after that April 1st stream, blah, I will not play the game again for 10 years. Until the April 1st stream, I'll try to get the Tuesday achievement.
Aha! I can see you've gotten the Settings World Champion achievement. Well done. You've experienced every setting, traveled to all corners of the settings menu. There's nothing you haven't seen. So, just for you, in the Stanley Parable 2, I'm including an entirely new setting. Something
you are?
called bumpscosity. What exactly
Bumpscosity?
is bumpscosity? Well, I haven't quite figured that part out yet, but I just know that you'll be able to adjust it on some sort of slider, and that it'll be available from the settings menu. We'll sort the rest of the details out later. I hope you're looking forward to trying out every level of bumpscosity in
I
the
might.
Stanley Parable 2.
If you move the game, I might make the game quiet. Maybe put on some background music, and I'll have to prepare a bunch of conversation topics. They will never set the setting sliders to every possible setting. There it is. Whoa. Why did it say 100 at the bottom there? Interesting slider. 0, 1, 12, 50, 76, 100, and 1,000. I experienced that on every setting now. Hooray. It is done. We're gonna go with 1,000. Why would I not go with 1,000? I've beaten the game. Basically. I don't think there's anything I really missed. Unless I'm being stupid. Let me actually run through it in my mind. Okay. So, 2 open doors. Both with the bucket and without the bucket. I went to the right door. Straight ahead. Look, right door and down to get to the Stanley Parable Adventure line. I did that for both. If I went forward and jumped to my death, I did that. I went to the red and blue door when it was possible. I did both of those. And when I go there with a bucket, it's just one path. I unplugged the phone and took the phone call, both with and without the bucket. And that's all that is over there. So then the left path. I'm just going through it in my mind. I should have everything. You don't need to give me the flowchart. I think I got it. If I go over there, I did the broom closet stuff. To the boss's, okay, downstairs, did with and without the bucket. Upstairs to the boss's office, I did the escape ending by exiting out. I did the stuff where I go up and down the elevator a few times. I jumped down the pit. I went down the escape path, and I turned the mind control facility both on and off. Aha! I have one idea of something I might not have done. Also bomb scarcities for dialogue at the start of the game. Okay then.
It's bucket time.
It is. Damn it, it's the wrong hallway. I can't do it like this. But that would be the short hallway. That could save some time.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. It's bucket time.
I didn't jump out the window with the
Stanley
bucket
clung
yet.
the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
Come on. Didn't do that yet.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger. Of hope and redemption,
what
and
a
its crusade to
backstory.
uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself.
Ooh.
Perhaps, if
Music.
it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
It's brow,
No,
of course,
Said
yes.
the bucket.
Not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults.
Ooh.
I was young back then.
This is a good
and could not
finale, this
conceive the
backstory.
ramifications of... No!
Before I wrap
Stanley
it up.
screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This
All
is
the
so
lore.
stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and
Dramatic
screamed, the
music
bucket
as well, I
revealed its
love
true
it.
form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley.
No!
You did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's
I'm
restart
sorry,
the
my
game,
friend.
and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this
I am
bucket,
so
nor
sorry.
the dark magic cast away inside of it. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. It's bucket time.
I think it's bucket time. It's just the permanent dialogue now. Bucket was evil all along, and that's the final plot twist. And with that, we have completed the final sequel of the Stanley Parable. He said it's bucket time and bucketed all over the place. Yeah. The Stanley Parable 12, the final sequel, was a great game. I'm so glad I played it. Took me way too long to get to it. Like, seriously. Really, really wish I played this game so much sooner. Definitely more than 9. It's definitely not 100% after all. As I said, I'm missing 2 achievements and I haven't done the baby minigame yet. But again, I'll get the Tuesday achievement off screen. We'll do the baby minigame for an April Fool's, probably. And then we'll see. I need to be reminded of the last achievement 10 years from now. So now I gotta stay up now to see if I can buy any. Taylor Swift tickets? Alrighty then. I wish you the best of luck there. The best of luck. If society still exists in 2034, true enough, that is a question we gotta ponder. If that will still... Well, technically it will be 2035, sorry. Because I gotta start the break of not playing after I do the April Fool's stream, which will, you know, be in 2025. But yeah, I do hope I will still be streaming 10 years from now. I don't want to drop this. It's just such a nice thing to do on the side. I mean, I'm playing games on my own anyway. Might as well share a little bit of that passion with other people by streaming it. It would be a shame, honestly. If future me ever decides to stop doing this, I'm gonna be very upset. Very, very upset. If I ever talk about quitting streaming, you have every right to call me out for it, insult me, and whatever. I really don't want to ever do that. One day I'm gonna be an old man on death's door, and I'm still gonna be streaming games on Twitch. Mark my words. I am gonna stream until I am dead. And that I promise. I'm gonna be that old man. Back in my day, games were so much simpler. Back in my day, we actually had good video games. Like the Stanley Parable 12, the final sequel. The best stuff. Yeah, and that is fairly quotable. Remember to quote that back at me if I ever say anything other than that. Yeah, bear in mind it's Stanley Parable 12, exactly. Alright. Well, time to rate someone. Should we look to see who's playing the Stanley Parable, or should we rate Zeldevon today? Zeldevon or look for... Actually, Zeldevon seems to be AFK. Do I really want to raid him while he's AFK? Or do I want to look for someone playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Let's see if anyone is playing that game. Is anyone playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe right now? Oh, there's this person called CodeErr who's streaming the game, but nobody else. Damn. All alone. I guess we should be raiding Zell then. Ah, Zell is fishing. Fishing in a Roblox. I mean, I don't see any harm in it. Let's raid Zell. Alright, no stream tomorrow, you know, because I'm done with this game. Kodo sounds cool. I don't know. I feel like he sounds like a massive douchebag. No, but seriously. You know, no stream tomorrow because we're done with this. Next stream on Friday. FNF. And, yeah. I'll see you for that, probably. I still have to double check to make sure I actually have some mods prepared for it. Would be a shame if we get to Friday and I don't have any mods for it. Anyway, I hope to see you all around. Thank you very, very, very much for watching. Again, thanks Stormies for the raid. Appreciate that as well. And yeah, in case anyone is watching who hasn't been on my channel before, maybe I play other games that you're interested in too. That might make you want to come back. But if anyone joined just for the Stanley Parable, that's totally understandable because this game is amazing. In any event, yes, if you are watching this as a VOD too, as Rob is saying, then yes, your support is also be greatly appreciated. And if you want to catch me live in the future, you can do so simply by checking the description down below. There will be a link to my Twitch where I stream every single Friday and Saturday, and sometimes other days of the week too, but that is a bit more irregular. In any event, thank you very, very much for watching, and I hope to see you around maybe for some other games. In any event, until then, bye-bye.